Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, and to those listening at home. Could you please be seated while Councillor Dewhurst delivers the blessing? Thank you.
As we meet for the final time this term, let's take a moment to appreciate what we've survived. The long agendas, the late nights and the occasional lively discussion. Karen, who is moving on, may your inbox rest in peace and your phone stop ringing for at least 2 or 3 weeks. To those of us who are standing again, may your campaign signs stay upright and your nerves hold steady. Let's keep our sense of humour, our respect for one another and our shared goal of making this community the best it can, but even if sometimes take the scenic route getting there. Amen.
Councillor Dewhurst. Before we begin, I will acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and on behalf of Council, pay my respect to elders both past and present. It is now 7:01 p.m. and I declare the meeting open. There is no announcement of visitors. I'll just read the disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time as they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Please note we are live streaming. All council meetings are live streamed, digitally recorded and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, except for confidential agenda items, during which time the live stream will be temporarily suspended. Record of attendance. Councillor McDonald is an apology this evening. Other than that, we're all here. Are there any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest. Okay, announcements by presiding member. Just a couple of things. Today, Councillor Dewhurst and myself attended a summit. It was the Australia, New Zealand, Shenzhen, China Business Summit in the Convention Centre in the city, attended by Premier Roger Cook as well as other state members. I picked up a couple of bits of paraphernalia and I was just showing the CEO this evening. I hadn't looked at it till now, and I noticed that they had an investment guide in Perth, and the whole little booklet is actually on the city of Gosnells, so that was great that they are promoting our area with construction and development and whatnot, so that's one thing they had. They also had a hover air, which is something new in the technology world. I don't think it's totally new, but it was very small and compact and it just flies behind you if you're wanting to do filming in front of you and whatnot. So the CEO said he's already going to order one of these, so we'll wish him luck with that. They had some information on the new electric battery storages that are coming out, as well as they had a little clip about this big that you could clip onto the back of your phone. It would translate to one of 170 different languages if you needed it to, and it literally just sat on the back of your phone. So that's absolutely incredible technology. So thanks to Mr. Simon Wu for inviting us along today, and interesting to see all that new technology that's coming through. Also wanted to let councillors know that Principal Donna McDonald from the Thornlie Senior High School has resigned from Thornlie and she's moving to Rockingham Senior High School because she lives in Rockingham, so it's nice and convenient for her. So I have an interim principal there, but just wanted to wish Donna all the best for her future. She's been a great principal for that school, and hope she does well down at Rockingham. A week ago, I attended the Kabaddi event, which is an Indian tackle game that they had out at Sutherland's, and was well attended, and it had teams from South Australia, New South Wales, Perth, all competing against each other, where I was presented with this. I just wanted to give this to the CEO to mouth something that's rather large. But that was nice of them to give out that to myself and to welcome Barley and myself. Councillor Lloyd was there, Councillor Zhang, Councillor Williamson. I think there were a lot of people attending that event. It was interesting. It was great to be held in the city of Gosnells, so good turnout. Mr. CEO, thank you. Don't take that home. Lastly, I just wanted to extend a special thanks to the councillors that are up for re-election in the elections this year. It's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you, and I wish you all the very best with your election campaign, and maybe you will or maybe you won't be back, but we've achieved a lot together, and I just wanted to thank you for all of your support throughout the last few years in my role as Mayor, and so good luck to you all. Thank you. And that is all I have as presiding member announcements. We'll move on to reports of delegates. Any reports of delegates? No, thank you. Sorry?
Just like to just briefly report that some of the councillors, Deputy Mayor Serena Williamson, Emma Zhang and Saiful Islam and myself and I think I've got everybody who was there, attended the commemoration of the Hazara genocide. And we have quite a large Hazara community in the city of Gosnells. And I guess it's a piece of history that most of us are unaware of. But in the year 1891, or in the year 1890, 2/3 of the population of Afghanistan was Hazara people. And from 1891 to 1893, 60% of their population was murdered. And so massive reduction, and they're an ethnic minority in their own country. And the Taliban consider them infidels, and the government that was in Afghanistan before the Taliban took over again, they had no time for the Hazara, so they're persecuted from every side. And so people who are here who are Hazaras who've come of recent years, they struggle with knowing that a lot of their family are being persecuted, still getting killed. I think in the last 12 months over 1,000 have been murdered, and if a Hazara gets murdered, nobody, governments, police take no interest whatever. So it's a pretty difficult kind of situation that they face. And I just thought it's something that perhaps we should be aware of when we talk to Hazara people, that that's one of the burdens that they carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Were there any other reports of delegates? Councillor Singh, thank you.
Madam Mayor, in the weekend I attended Diwali festival organised by Indian Society of Western Australia. There was around 30,000 people were on 5th of October. Yep. So we attended. It's our Indian biggest festival. So it's just for a festival of lights, for love and bringing peace to home, sharing food and sweets. So I wish everybody very happy Diwali. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Singh. Now move on to, there was no others, no. Question time for public and the receiving of public statements. So question time is first, and I was just about to mention that there was someone running a little bit late, but I now see that that person is here, so that's great news. Call for Daniel. Thank you for the question, and I'll direct your question to Mr. Martin Glover, who's the Director for Infrastructure. Thanks.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the drain on Lower Park Road will be infilled as part of the redevelopment associated with the Central Maddington structure plan. So when that development goes ahead, then that drain will be dealt with.
Yeah, I suppose.
Thank you. Your next question?
Thanks. My next question is, I know I've raised this before, but what the fence on the Oval, why is the fence at the Maddington Oval in place, stopping residents from using the Oval, and ratepayers are paying for the mowing and the upkeep of this Oval?
Thank you for your question, and Mr. Glover will respond.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the Oval is actually still available to be used by the public. We, in fact, have had winter cricket playing on there this season. I will check and make sure that there are gates open, but to the best of my knowledge, it is available to the public.
Thank you very much. I now call forward Mr. Dale Miller from Martin. Thank you.
I thank the council for their time. My problem arises is that recently it's been brought to my attention that water ingressing on council crossovers down the private driveways. So my question is, can please council explain how Councillor Glenn Dewhurst, ratepayer of 49 Douglas Road, Martin, gets preferential treatment when it comes to council crossovers at ratepayers' expense? Recently, numerous City of Gosnells vehicles, large front-end loaders, etc., and a water truck spent 4 days doing Councillor Dewhurst's driveway. After receiving information from the Mayor and CEO, I raised it that Gordon Brockway, ratepayer of 175 Douglas Road, who, in my opinion's crossover was substantially worse than Mr Dewhurst's, right, has had nothing done to his crossover, even though council maintenance trucks put a little bit of bitumen every now and again. Following on top of that, which has happened recently, right, Mr Brockway received very recently a letter from the council, or a quote, for just under $11,000 to do his crossover. And as soon as he's paid that money, the council will do his crossover. I believe Mr Dewhurst's crossover, according to the Mayor and the CEO, was done at ratepayers' expense, all right, and no charge to the council. Also, Andrew Greaves, right there, also a ratepayer, 629 Canning Mills Road, has for several years asked the council to solve his same problem, water flowing down from two directions from Canning Mills Road, eroding his crossover, down his driveway, etc., etc. Each year, he says, council road workers come out, put a small patch on the edge of the road and then drive away again. Very recently, Andrew redid his own driveway at his own expense.
Okay. Thank you for your questions, and Mr Glover, the Director for Infrastructure, will respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you. The City received an inquiry from Councillor Dewhurst seeking advice with respect to flooding of his constructed asphalt crossover and driveway at 49 Douglas Road, Martin, due to water flowing off the road. The City investigated and determined that the crossover was compliant. However, stormwater, which was predominantly generated from the bushland adjacent to Councillor Dewhurst's property on the opposite side of Douglas Road, was jumping the open drain and flowing through the road into Councillor Dewhurst's property via his entrance. Excuse me. In accordance with City practice, the City then conducted earthworks at its cost to relieve the situation, that is, redirect the cross-country flow to reduce flooding of Councillor Dewhurst's property. Following the works, the City received an inquiry from Mr Miller of 7 Vestey Grove, Martin, concerned about the works that had been conducted and seeking a similar service. Mr Miller also referenced Mr Brockway of 175 Douglas Road, who might also require the same. The City investigated the access to both 7 Vestey Grove and 175 Douglas Road and identified that there was no constructed crossovers at these addresses. The construction of a crossover remains the landowner's responsibility, and the City provides a cash contribution towards the crossover when the crossover is constructed in accordance with City standards. Quotations for crossovers have been prepared for Mr Miller and Mr Brockway, and as I understand, Mr Brockway's received his. Yours will be arriving shortly. And now I'm also going to follow up on Mr Greaves' situation on Canning Mills Road.
All right, I do thank you for that, sir. I'll let Mr Brockway and Mr Greaves follow up any information.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Council.
We'll now move on to Mr Norman Craigie on behalf of Quingley. Thank you. Martin, your microphone's on.
Hello. My questions are about the Airbnbs in the Gosnells Shire. Is it your intention to shut down all Airbnb in the Gosnells Shire, as Mr Kevin Townrow said, because the Gosnells Shire is not a tourist area, he wants them all shut down, but we've heard the Canning Shire is actually allowing some Airbnbs to still operate. So...
Thank you for your question. That's not exactly what you've got here, but...
we didn't have time to write the whole thing down because we just came to the office.
So each application that comes to council is taken on its merit, so we'll be deciding on that tonight.
That's right, because I've filled in the other form and everything and attached written paperwork with it and photographs.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the next section, the public statements, and this was just a question. So
no, that's right. I just wanted to know that you had
the
that.
council will decide on each application on its merits.
Yeah, I have one other question. Do you think it is right that two people can make false claims about parking and traffic noise at 3 Marlow Way, Thornlie, because they don't want an Airbnb in the area? Because I've got photographs to prove the parking is no problem and all that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't comment. I'm not sure what the circumstances are with that, but thank you for the question.
But you'll be making a decision on the Airbnbs and everything?
Tonight, yes.
Yes.
Well, there's 2 applications in front of us tonight, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from Ms Tracy Hutt. Thank you. You're not going to be able to reach that. David? Someone?
No, I can stand. It's okay. I can stand up. I can stand up. It's okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a question about the GAIN disability program. Why has it not been advertised as a roundtable discussion for people like myself to ask the City of Gosnells what we need? My second question, I attended one in Kenwick, and I have a little bit, sorry, don't want to be rude.
Sorry, Ms Hunt, I might just get your first question answered first.
Yes, absolutely.
Does that work for you? Yep, okay, thank you. And the Director for Community Engagement, Glenda Blake, will answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Tracy. The network is just one of the actions in the City's Disability Access and Inclusion Plan, which actually provides a pretty comprehensive list of strategies and actions to address access and inclusion in the City of Gosnells. The network actually is advertised as for a number of things, but two of the main objectives of the network, which are heavily promoted, are to provide opportunities for people with disability in our community to have a voice and to improve awareness of support services to improve for people with disability.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comment. I attended one in Kenwick and I was, excuse my French, a little bit disgusted because there were only 3 of us disabled people in the community and the others were all product providers, NDIS, Silver Chain, and I felt this as a disabled person that my voice was not heard, and it looked like to me being a network session for product providers and not one person spoke to me and asked me about my issues. So why are we as ratepayers paying for these product providers to have network sessions?
Thank you for your question, and our Director for Community Engagement, Glenda Blake, will respond.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The network's open to everybody in the community, and obviously we want people with disability to come to those network meetings because the major objective of those network meetings are to give people with disability a voice, as you've quite rightly identified. It is promoted really heavily, and we do really try to encourage people with disability to come along. We encourage service providers to actually let their clients know or also to bring clients along to the network meetings. And at every network meeting, my understanding is that all attendees are offered the opportunity to address the group with any updates or information that they may want to share. And at the last meeting, again, my understanding is that a number of attendees did actually share some of their personal experiences to the whole group, as well as providing invaluable feedback to both cities, because it's a joint City of Armidale and City of Gosnells initiative, on how we can improve the network and also improve accessibility for people with disability. I also understand that you spoke with the Manager of Community Development to actually voice your concerns about the accessibility of the building where the meetings were held, and thank you so much for that feedback. As a result of that, we're actually changing the venue to an accessible, more accessible building. The network doesn't cost anything other than officer time. And, you know, again, I think I, like you and my officers, are really wanting for that network to succeed. This is only our second meeting at the City of Gosnells, so I would be really happy to meet with you, Tracy, so that you can actually give me your feedback and your input on how we can actually make that network better.
Thank you so much for your feedback, and I'm happy to work with you. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That is the end of question time. We now move on to public statement time, and the first public statement is from Ms. Diane Child, and it's relating to item number... It's to do with the petition that's at number 8. Sorry, this is new that we'd... Yes, carry on. It's to do with 8.1 on the petition.
Are you ready to go?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Mayor Linz, City Councillors, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diane Child. I'm representing the residents of Batsford Way, Batman Road and Waterperry Drive in Canning Vale. I'll read the public statement titled Urgent Request to Prioritise Safety. I'll outline 7 key safety concerns and residents' recommendations for new bus routes and traffic calming methods. This public statement is supported by 53 petition signatures and growing community concern. The public statement. We, the residents of Batsford Way, Batman Road and Waterperry Drive, Canning Vale, urgently call for the City of Gosnells Council to address escalating risks to pedestrians, vehicle safety caused by excessive heavy buses numbering more than 50 buses per day, operating from 4:23 a.m. until after midnight. This is combined with increased vehicle traffic. We urgently request buses rerouting to divert heavy buses away from narrow residential zones and implement traffic calming measures to protect children, pedestrians and residents. The key safety concerns are children at risk. The children's playground and nature reserve nearby make this an especially dangerous area with no fences or barriers or pedestrian crossings. Parents and grandparents are reporting reluctance to use the playgrounds because of the bus and vehicle traffic adjacent. Narrow turns. Buses navigating the turn on Waterperry and Batman are causing near misses with cars, and residents report they are instructed by the bus drivers to reverse their vehicle into oncoming traffic to allow the bus to pass. Footpath danger. Buses travelling very close to pedestrians and vehicles with reports of buses mounting the curb to avoid oncoming traffic. These footpaths are vital for school children, parents with prams and pushchairs, elderly residents and the broader community. And with that one, there is CCTV available. Excessive speed. Many vehicles, both buses and private cars, are travelling too fast through Waterperry and Batsford, with little room to manoeuvre safely, and residents report near misses. Hoons driving recklessly at all hours are reported by residents as being particularly concerning. Those buses are empty 99.9% of the time. The stop or lay-by for drivers is serving no public transport service to locals. There is a stop close by in Amherst Road. Excessive noise, vibrations and pollution from buses from 4:30 a.m.
Sorry, Ms Child, you only have 3 minutes to do a public statement, so what I'll get you to do is to read to stop it where your residents recommended, what your recommendations are, and make sure councillors and staff get a copy of what you've got there.
Sorry, do you want me to stop right now?
You can finish the next paragraph. Thank you.
Okay, excessive noise, vibrations, pollution from buses, 4:30 a.m. until after midnight, disrupting residents. Unacceptable behaviour. There's one there about there's no facility for the bus drivers to go to the bathroom. And unfortunately, as was reported to me, bus drivers are using the garden outside the daycare centre after hours. In here, there are some suggestions that have come from residents. I won't read those out.
Thank you.
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one of them being 000 buses not to come into this route. If they've finished their route, go to the bus depot. And there is a list there of traffic calming methods.
Thank you. I will get the councillors a copy of all of what you've written there. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Now call on Mr Norman Craigie on behalf of Quingley, and it's regarding item 13.2.4 on page 82 of the agenda, which relates to the Airbnb application at 3 Marlow Way in Thornlie. Thank you. Do you need a copy of this?
I've written everything down on the copy that for you to read, and that because everything it mainly covers what I spoke about before.
Yep.
So it's all about the Airbnb and everything, and photos there to show that parking is not a problem, and that. But people need a choice of Airbnbs because there's a lot of people come from the country during school holidays and they have kids. They don't want to be staying in a motel or a hotel. they would rather have a house where they've got a bedroom each, they've got an area in the backyard the kids can play safely and everything. And my friend Linda, she and her daughter actually own the Airbnb at 3 Marlow Way, and they live next door, so they know exactly what's going on all the time. And I help maintain all the gardens, and Linda is a house cleaner by trade, so she does all the cleaning and everything, and that, so we know what's going on all the time. And there's no big parties, and the daughter is very careful who she lets into the house, Airbnbs. She always does reviews on the people before she allows them to come to make sure there's no problems or anything upsetting the neighbours. And as far as the traffic goes, there's normally only one car. People come with just one car. There's a lot of parking area there because it's a corner block and it's on a big circular drive with a separate carport. So there's normally only one car just parking there. So traffic noise is not a problem, and you just get the normal traffic going up and down the road. But there was 2 complaints, but I think those people know each other, and they're only complaining they'd made false claims that there's noise from the parking and the traffic, but only because they don't want an Airbnb within that area. And as far as the transport and everything goes, it's only 5 minutes walk to a bus stop and a very short drive to Thornlie railway station. And so why we've been told by Mr Kevin Townrow that because it's not a tourist area, he wants to shut down all B&Bs, but that's not only tourists that stay there, it's many other people. You know, sometimes we have students come from overseas and they only do short-term studies and then they're gone. We've had doctors come from overseas working in hospitals, just doing special training and everything, and they only want short-term accommodation with their families, and then they're gone. The average stay is only about 5 days, and then you get people come from the country who might need medical procedures or something like that done, so they need short-term accommodation because they might be having a minor operation or having therapy or something like that. So there's many people. It's not only tourists. A majority of the people that stay at this Airbnb are local people, and that. So I don't see how tourism can be used against the Airbnb because people need that choice, and that might be taken away from them. And we've never had any trouble. It's been going for nearly 3 years, that Airbnb, and there's been no problems at all. You send out a lot of brochures and everything, but only 2 people known to each other actually complained, that was all. So time's up now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You did very well considering you didn't have your notes to go by. So
that's right, I was always doing it from memory.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next we have Casey Roycroft, and it's regarding item 13.2.3, which is on page 48 of the agenda, which is the development application for change of use from group dwelling to unhosted short-term rental accommodation at 60D, Lot 40, Bert Street, Gosnells. Thank you, Casey.
Good evening. My name is Casey. I've been operating the Airbnb at 60D Bert Street, of which my partner owns. When I set this property up, I invested a significant amount of time and money to furnish it from scratch, as well as making improvements to ensure that it was well prepared for use as a short-term rental. I manage all the bookings and communication between guests and visit the property at least once a week to maintain a high standard of cleanliness and presentation. Not only am I a clean freak myself, but this property is our own and we want to ensure that it stays well maintained opposed to having disruptive and untidy long-term tenants. All residents in the complex have my number and I've communicated to them that they can contact me anytime about the property, and I frequently ask for feedback from both guests and residents. I believe my 4.79 out of 5-star rating proves that I'm a passionate host, committed to providing a professional and respectful short-term accommodation to the community. I have a testimony from my neighbour Sharon, who wrote, "As you know, being in a unit right across the driveway from your Airbnb, and Sam next to me, we are the most affected by the high turnover of people coming to stay, but I have no issue with it being an Airbnb as we both work and I'm FIFO a majority of the time. As far as your business goes, I think it's fine." That statement means a lot to me because it shows that the people living closest to the property, who would typically be the ones most affected, have no objection to it being an Airbnb. I have guests for a wide variety of reasons, such as family visiting relatives nearby, students here for courses in short-term study, people renovating their homes and FIFO workers, as well as foreign travellers needing somewhere quiet and convenient to travel to and from the airport. Many guests have communicated in their reviews on how safe and convenient the location is, as well as how well maintained the unit and garden is. I do the gardening at the unit myself, of which we are the only unit in the complex who has a maintained garden, and given that I'm currently unemployed, I have also offered my gardening services to the other residents to keep the area tidy and well presented. My Airbnb has a 95% occupancy rate, which shows that there is a strong demand for affordable short-term accommodation in Gosnells. I also actively support the local economy by recommending nearby cafes, restaurants, shopping centres and parks to my guests, meaning that my Airbnb doesn't just provide accommodation, but contributes to the vibrancy and economic activity of the community. If this approval is refused, I will lose my only source of income, and this will put myself and my partner in a position of financial hardship, especially when we are planning to start a family in the near future. My cleaner, who is a wonderful local lady, will also have her income greatly affected if this approval is refused. I've brought with me copies of my lawyer's letter, my written statements and the neighbours' testimonials, and I'm happy to provide them to the council tonight. I understand that they may not be formally accepted, but I wanted to show that I've done everything I can with the limited time I was given responding to this meeting. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next we have Jared Ross, and it's on item number 13.2.2, which is the development application for the warehouse hardstand incidental offices at 95, 99, 107, 113, 117, 127 and 139 Victoria Road in Kenwick. And he's not coming. I should have looked up sooner. I think council has received this previously, so I'll take that as read. Thank you. That is the end of public statements. So now move on to the confirmation of minutes. Could I just ask someone to turn that microphone off there, please? Thank you very much. Confirmation of minutes. Can I get a mover? Councillor Islam to move that. A seconder, Councillor Singh to second that. Are there any questions on the minutes, councillors? No? Councillors, you please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll now move on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, those in the gallery listening at home, the councillors that are up for re-election will all have a couple of minutes to speak, as this may or may not be one of their last council meetings. So as we move around, everyone will have that chance to speak at this time. So starting from Councillor Betts, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the opportunity just to say a few words. Having had 2 terms, 8 years on the council, I just want to say that the council, I believe, we've been really working well together. When councillors from other local governments ask me sometimes, how's it going at Gosnells? I say, we're just humming. And they say, really? Because so many local governments have bitch fights all the time and have voting blocks, and it's a pretty ugly scene. But here, we don't always agree, and that's okay, but we're always very respectful when we disagree. And so, I have re-nominated, and so I'm hoping to be re-elected. But if the ratepayers decide that somebody else should be sitting in my seat, I respect that. And I just simply say I've really enjoyed my 8 years on council. I think I'd enjoy another 4 years, but hey, that's up to the ratepayers to decide. And I just want to say thank you to all of the councillors, even the ones we've had fairly strong disagreements, but I think we've always been very respectful. I also want to say that the senior staff, it's been a real pleasure working with you. And I just said to Emily, who looks after the food, I said, if I don't get re-elected, it'll probably be easier to lose weight. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Councillor Baynes, thank you. Unless Councillor... No, he's not up for re-election. You haven't got any petitions to present, though, have you, Councillor Adams? No, thank you. Councillor Baynes, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As this is my final OCM, I just want to express my sincere gratitude for the incredible journey over the last 4 years. It has been an absolute honour and privilege to be elected to serve the community. I have learnt so much and have made wonderful connections with many of the community groups and experienced the diverse and vibrant cultures of all of our residents. I'm especially proud to be the unofficial representative for Beckenham and Orange Grove, and I will miss being their voice in the community. I would like to thank Ian, Glenda, Grant, Andrew and Martin, for your guidance and your professionalism. I have learned so much from you all. I never thought I would be interested in things like planning and development, but I've actually thoroughly enjoyed doing that and being part of committees such as MODAP, and just being involved in the decisions that shape the development of our community. I found that really a great experience. I want to say thank you to all the staff. They're the people who actually do all the hard work after we've made the easy decisions, so I just wanted to call out their efforts. Madam Mayor, you're the mayor that I didn't know I needed. Thank you so much for your leadership and advice. Thank you for encouraging me to move out of my comfort zone and embrace the role of a councillor. Your support and friendship will always be remembered. To my fellow councillors, it has been an absolute pleasure to work alongside you all. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and opinions, although I have to say someone's wisdom nearby has been questionable occasionally. It has been an absolute honour to be part of the decisions that we've made together. As I leave my role as a councillor, I'm looking forward to spending more time on my career and with my wonderful family, so that would be lovely to get that balance a bit back. I wish my fellow councillors up for re-election all the very best, and I'm sure that the incoming council will continue to serve the community with passion and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baines. I might come back to petitions, so I'll just keep going with the councillors that are up for election. Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Well, more or less what Peter said, no, not what Karen said, because it's been a great ride. 14 years on council is a long time, and you just never know where the universe takes you. You know, I leave it up to the universe whether I get back in or I don't get back in, and I'll have fun if I do, and I'll have fun if I don't. I believe this mob of councillors here and the executive team that we've got is probably the best we've had. We have achieved so much. I mean, we've done a lot before that as well with the previous councillors as well, and set up strategies and set up things that are happening, but this council is really impressive. And you know, some days we get up here and we'll be arguing and you can't handle the truth sort of thing, you know. But as soon as you walk through that door, after it's finished, it's all forgotten. And that's really good about it as well. But for the councillors, there's going to be at least one new councillor to come in, and it's probably could be more. And you can always have fun. And I always like having fun sitting around here. And I'll just tell you one story. When Karen, Councillor Baines, started here, and she used to sit right beside me, and then the live streaming was happening and stuff like that. Me and my mates get there on a Friday afternoon, and we sort of have a... Well, no, we don't actually bet. Well, we do actually, but I'll say we don't. And we say this is what's going to happen in council on the following Tuesday night or whatever. Anyway, one Friday night, I said to him, I says, I'm going to get Karen to open up my water bottle. She's got to feel sorry for me. And I said, no, there's no way she would do that. Anyway, so I was sitting there and I looked up at the camera and gave a nod, and I knew my mates were watching. And I sat there going like this, and Karen's looking at me. I'm going like this, going, oh, I can't get it. Can you open it up? So Karen gets it, just opens it up like that. So yeah, I won that. I won that day. So you can have fun up there as well. So anyway, I wish everybody the best. I wish everyone who's put up their hand. It's a hard gig to put up your hand and run for council. And yeah, respect to them all. Thanks very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Good.
A reflection. I've served for 12 years to the best of my ability with integrity, honesty and reliability, and a firm view of serving the people without fear nor favour. I thank the voters of the City of Gosnells for this honour. I thank the council who voted for me as their mayor in 2019. It was a privilege to serve as a mayor of the city, but it's been an honour and a highlight to have been a councillor. COVID-19 came early, and it wasn't a good time to make things happen and to get things done. My favourite phrases I often use. So many rules and restrictions applied during my time. Having said that, we certainly did more than other councils. Community engagement-wise, we did. Tropic Like It's Hot, Driveway Disco, Madaganza, Under the Big Top. And Easter eggs being dropped off the back of a truck in very hot conditions, around 40-degree heat, I think. I think we broke a number of road rules that day in terms of hanging on to the back of a truck. We even had staff inside hot bunny suits. They would have been sweltering. We did a fireworks display from 4 different locations throughout the city. I dipped my lid. Well done. What a successful time in trying to keep our spirits up. Well done to our executive staff and the staff involved in doing their best during difficult COVID-19 times. I've enjoyed working with council staff, led by CEO Ian Cowie and directors Bradbrook, Glover, Blake and Lafort, and previously Terrelink. I thank them sincerely for their advice and counsel. I've served on various committees and in various roles such as History and Heritage, Audit Committee, Neighbourhood Watch, Public Art Committee. Not bad for someone who is colourblind technically. JDAP, Joint Development Assessment Panel for the audience, and now called MODAP, Metropolitan Outer Development Assessment Panel, and South East Metropolitan Zones. Several times I've even judged our Christmas lights. On the MODAP, if someone had said to me 12 years ago, we will have a $415 million development in the city of Gosnells, I would have said, you are stark, raving mad. But we have. Hope they build it. The Mooksy, seen such magnificent developments in 12 years. Great work to the city staff. I've also served as a reserved metropolitan member on the West Australian Grants Commission. I have worked with 29 other councillors. Yes, I wrote down every single person's name. I remembered everybody. During my time over 12 years, and I've appreciated many discussions, arguments and counter-arguments over the years. I've always argued in good faith, without bias and without favour. I've generally tried to vote for the best possible outcome. My aim when I first got elected was to improve the reputation of the city of Gosnells. I wanted the city to be a place where people wanted to live and invest. I hope the video is really recording this loud and clear. I really wish the state and federal governments would provide the funding of at least $50 million for splash at Sutherland's. We also need grade separations at all train stations along Albany Highway. Our people need and deserve this, as we have over 140,000 people in the city of Gosnells now and are growing strongly. To put this into perspective, it is worthwhile noting that in 71 years our population has increased by over 130,000 people. To make it clear, in 1954 we had 7,400. In 1966 we had 11,000. 1970, we're getting more recent, we had 21,000, and then 1981, 52,000, and here we are, 40 odd years later, 140,000. In fact, in 25 years, we've increased by over 60,000 people. That's just huge. No wonder it always appears that we're trying to catch up, because it's true. Think of all the new roads needed, schools built, new shopping centres and sporting fields. Now think of all the extra cars on the roads. Since 2019, there are now 250,000 more cars on the road in the Perth metropolitan area. No wonder it now takes several light changes just to get through Spencer Road, Wharton Road intersection. I've always had the view that without strong economic growth and a well-managed budget, that you cannot deliver the projects and social events the local people deserve and probably expect. The City of Gosnells is well directed and its executive team are good money managers. I thank them sincerely for the appreciation of the value of money. We've all witnessed many projects in recent years having had cost overruns or simply not proceeded, or were amended as a result of budgets needing to be changed. We've completed a number of key projects during my time and a number that should have been completed. Charles Hook Development, Hester Park, ongoing and disappointed that this has not been done, a 206-unit site in Langford, which is cash flow positive and always has been. Such a shame bureaucracy gets in the way. We did community consultation on Hester Park over 10 years ago. An Aboriginal cultural centre could have been built by now along Albany Highway, Maddington. We had a marvellous opportunity to do some good work there. We have completed 11 all abilities playgrounds, which started during my term as Mayor. This motion, submitted by former Mayor and Councillor Owen Searle, received unanimous support. Operation Centre development not completed. But we built Thornlie Park Centre, which opened in 2021. What a fabulous addition to the suburb of Thornlie plus our city. This came about from an idea in 2012 during discussions with the club. Southern River Business Park, all lots sold. Again, fabulous result. Spencer Road upgrade in Thornlie, an outstanding job of improving traffic flow through our city. Director Glover had a lot on that. Well done, a marvellous achievement. Robinson Park, Gosnells, a marvellous development and all lots sold. I often hear comments such as, the community expects. I have an issue with this because sometimes we need to lower community expectations. We cannot please everyone as we have to manage budgets. Whilst being on council, I've also served as board chair of Canning Vale College for 10 years and Ashley Care for 3 years. All this keeps me fairly busy, but if I'm not re-elected, then some time will be regained and I will continue on with other activities, including my own businesses. I've enjoyed Tuesday nights for 12 years and will miss those interesting discussions. I thank councillors, staff and the voters, the people who gave me this opportunity to get things done. So it's potentially bye for now, or I'll see you later after October 18. Again, this was a reflection. But finally, irrespective of what happens on Saturday, October 18, my 7th grandchild is due Friday, October 17, so I'm extremely excited by this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Good. I just have one here that I'll read out for Councillor McDonald. It starts with, my apologies, I'm not present this evening due to a family bereavement. I would like to say that my time as an elected member has been a rare privilege, and whatever the result is on Saturday, I will always be grateful for the experience. I'm particularly grateful to have served with such a wonderful team of councillors, our wonderful mayor, I didn't write this, he did, and City of Gosnells staff who are amazing. I would also like to thank and congratulate the candidates who have put their hand up to serve our community and wish them all the very best. Serving as an elected member is a privilege, and if I'm not re-elected on Saturday, I'll gladly give my place up on council to someone else, knowing that they will have the opportunity and experience that I have been so fortunate to have. Conversely, if I am re-elected, I look forward to the next 4 years with energy and enthusiasm to serve our growing community to the best of my ability. Warm regards, Kevin McDonald. Thank you. Move on now to Deputy Mayor, Councillor Serena Williamson. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I haven't written a speech, so I'm actually going to just speak from the heart, because I've found over the past 4 years, when I was returned for my second term, I've gained greater confidence, and I think I actually debate better when it's not written. So, like the other councillors have mentioned, I really want to thank the staff. I've learnt so much and I've been so supported, and I'm forever grateful. And the councillors that I've worked with and the mayor, I think we really do have a great team. I think it's not always about agreeing, it's about challenging ourselves so we can get to a better outcome. And it's being respectful during that challenge and not shying away and doing the easy option. One of the things that I've always drawn upon is the understanding that serving with integrity and serving with ethics. And I constantly remind myself, even though we may not have a big crowd in the gallery most nights, we may not know whether anyone's online, we may not know whether anyone really cares about what's on the agenda. It's about doing what's right, even when they're not watching, even when they're not looking, even when they're not listening. It's about doing what's right for today and for the future. So with that, I just hope whoever is returned to council, whether they're new councillors or re-elected councillors, that the council upholds that same level of integrity and ethics, and that they serve our community well. And I guess there is one thing that I have drawn on as well, I should say two things, is a quote from Dr. Seuss. One of my favourite quotes is from the Lorax, and it's, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better, it's not. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. We'll now move back, because there's no one else there, we'll move back to petitions, presentation of petitions. Councillor Dalton, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have an elector's petition to present with 53 names, which reads, "We, the undersigned residents of Maddington and surrounding suburbs, respectfully petition the City of Gosnells to prepare a report for Council within 8 weeks after the upcoming election, outlining possible solutions for the future of Harmony Fields. That the City of Gosnells prepare and present to Council within 8 weeks post-election a report outlining potential solutions for Harmony Fields, and 2, consider resident input in shaping a first-of-its-kind activity precinct with a strong environmental and interactive focus." I seek to move the petition be received and the CEO prepare a report to Council, and I seek a seconder.
Councillor Dewhurst to second that, thank you. And councillors, if you want to speak to that?
No.
No, thank you. We'll cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been voted in favour of. Thank you, you can just drop it there. Councillor Dewhurst, I believe you have a petition. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. This will be awkward at the moment. I've got 53 signatures as well, so yeah, I've checked, they're different, so it's all right. So the petition states, "We, the residents of Canning Vale, urgently call for action to address escalating risks to pedestrians and residents' safety caused by excessive bus and vehicle traffic in our quiet residential streets. Streets are narrow and were not designed for large buses, combined with increased vehicle numbers." A copy of the full petition has been provided to elected members through the City's electronic agenda system, and I ask that the petition be received and report prepared for Council.
Seek a seconder. Councillor Adams to second that. Thank you. Councillors, if you would cast your vote, thank you. Thank you. That has been supported. Are there any other petitions or presentations to be made? No, thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to, if anyone was here for petitions, you are welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay. It is up to you. Thank you. We'll now move on to, thank you, applications for leave of absence. Are there any? No, thank you. There are questions of which due notice has been given. Councillor Lloyd, I believe. Yes, Councillor Lloyd, thank you.
Thank you. Question 1, please. Can the City please advise how many contractors are currently engaged to provide verge and lawn mowing services, and whether their existing capacity is sufficient to meet current and seasonal demand?
Okay. And Mr Glover, the Director for Infrastructure, will answer all of your questions that you have here this evening. So thank you, Mr Glover.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. The City has one contractor for mowing services appointed through a tender process. The contract covers a range of mowing activities and includes a provision of both proactive and reactive verge maintenance. The awarded contractor is a national organisation that services multiple local governments in the Perth metropolitan area. Generally, the contractor has sufficient capacity to meet the City's needs, but seasonal growth requirements can create servicing challenges at particular times of the year.
Over your next question, thank you.
Thank you. Given the reported workload pressure on existing contractors, has the City considered engaging local sole traders to assist, and what procurement, insurance or policy barriers, if any, prevent this approach?
Thank you, and Mr Glover will respond.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City conducted an extensive tender process to appoint the current contractor. One of the principles of having a large-scale operator providing mowing services to the City is to ensure consistency of service, value for money and streamlined procurement processes over the lifespan of the contract. The works themselves require contractors to have a sizable insurance policies to cover for public liability at 20 million, workers' compensation at 50 million and motor vehicles at 32.5 million. Given the majority of the contracted mowing works and all of the reactive verge maintenance works require activities to be conducted in the road reserve, there is a need for contractors to understand the risks and requirements associated with working in the road environment. The legislation around traffic management mandates a variety of specific elements that includes management plans, signage and PPP, personal protection equipment, that depend upon the road type and operating speed. A small local operator working for a private client may not adhere to these rules, but a local government must. Further, nominal estimates of peak workload requirements are provided as part of the procurement process, and tender submissions are assessed on their ability to meet forecasted demand. If the contractor is performing in accordance with the contract specification and the City were to award works to non-contracted parties, this would risk compromising the procurement integrity of the City, not to mention its contracted commitments.
Thank you. Your next question.
What is the average response time and cost per verge mowing job under the current contractual arrangements? And has the City compared this to potential costs associated with engaging smaller local operators?
Thank you, Mr Glover.
Through you, Madam Mayor. The current rate for verge mowing is 45 cents per square metre. The City batches verge jobs into suburb bundles before issuing works in an attempt to maximise the efficiency of the contractor, as well as provide a cohesive and consistent response in a specific location. Typically, verge maintenance requests get serviced inside 10 business days. Because of the dollar value associated with the City's verge mowing requirements, a tender or panel arrangement would be required to ensure the City honours its legislative procurement requirements. Small local operators were able to submit responses to the mowing tender, and the most recent tender was presented in separable portions to provide the greatest opportunity for them to match their organisational capability with the needs of the City.
Thank you. Your next question.
What contingency plans are in place to ensure verges, reserves and public open spaces continue to be maintained to an acceptable standard when contracted service levels cannot be maintained?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Glover.
Through Madam Mayor. The City is able to provide overtime opportunities for City staff to take on weekend works during periods when contractors are unable to service the needs of the City. Further, as part of the City's ongoing commitment towards finding operational efficiency, as well as meeting urban greening and waterwise principles, our parks teams are constantly assessing opportunities to plant out or eco-zone areas by removing turf and installing alternative surface treatments. This changes the operational maintenance requirements and provides a greater opportunity for internal staff to support the verge mowing contractor if necessary.
Thank you. Now we'll go to item number for planning and development, item number 13.2.1, the adoption of planning scheme number 24 on the heritage list. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Islam to move that. Seconder, Councillor Lloyd to second that. Councillor Islam, do you have any debate or questions? Councillor Lloyd, does anybody else have any debate or questions on this item? Thank you, councillors. If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to 13.2.2, the development application for the warehouse, hardstand and incidental offices at 95 lot 407, 99 lot 51, 107 lot 50, 113 lot 15, 117 lot 16, 127 lot 988 and 139 lot 25 Victoria Road, Kenwick. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Betts to move this and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Dalton. Councillor Betts, would you like to speak to this item? Thank you. Councillor Dalton. No, would anybody else like to speak to this item? Councillor Zhang, thank you.
I have an amendment to this motion. Councillor Emma Zhang proposed the following, that condition 1 of the staff recommendation be amended to read: 1. Prior to applying for a building permit, the proposed crossover on the Victoria Road is to be modified to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells, that the following condition 17 to be added to the staff recommendation. Prior to applying for a building permit, the proponent should submit to the City of Gosnells for approval a preliminary proposal for an artwork designed by a professional artist at the cost of 1% of the total project cost, to a maximum of the $250,000, to be located within the subject site as the integral part of the development. Alternatively, prior to applying for a building permit, the owner applicant should make a cash contribution towards public art in lieu of the above. Prior to the commencement of the development, the proponent should submit to the City of Gosnells for approval application for artwork design, and the proponent is to enter into the contract with a professional artist to design and install the artwork approved by the City of Gosnells. Prior to the occupation of the development, the artwork should then be installed and maintained thereafter to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells for the following reason. The current plan doesn't allow the large trucks to safely turn left onto Victoria Road when leaving the site, see plan below. If they try, they would end up driving on the wrong side of the road, which is illegal and dangerous. To avoid this, trucks would have to turn right, go up Victoria Road, use a future cul-de-sac to turn around, and then come back down to get to Cliffy Street. The city doesn't support this kind of movement. The addition of Condition 17 would issue the development application complies with local planning policy 4.11 public art.
Thank you. Seeking a seconder, Councillor William. You moved it, Councillor Bert, so you can't second it. Deputy Mayor Councillor Williamson's happy to second that. Did you have anything more to say on that, Councillor Zhang? Would anybody else like to speak on the amendment or any questions? Councillor Williamson, Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to thank Councillor Zhang for raising these amendments. I think that's a really good amendment. Councillor Zhang has been very active with the Public Artwork Committee, and I think this will be well received, this contribution or the artwork that will be on site. But I also wanted to check, I had a few questions, if I could raise those now.
The amendment or the original item?
It can be on the original item or the amendment.
You want to ask them after the amendment?
Yeah, I can do it on the original item.
Yeah,
That's
thank
okay.
you. Thank you. Is there any other questions on the amendment, councillors? Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Just so I've got it, there's two amendments in there. There's the crossover, and there's
And
also
the
the public art. So I just got a question actually. In regards to the public art, what have they suggested? Because I do believe we have that in policy anyway. But we've also adopted that if they do quite fancy facades or stuff like that on their buildings, that we foregoed the public art right out the front of their place. Now it's been Hesperia, I believe. Hesperia are the builders on this one here. They've certainly done that with their buildings on the road logistics.
Yep, I'll get a response for you from the Director for Planning. Thank you, Mr. Andrew Lafort.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The buildings that Hesperia did previously in the other part of Roe Highway Logistics Park were done prior to the amendment to the local planning policy that incorporated industrial development. So in their previous developments, there was no policy requirement for them to incorporate public art into the buildings. If this one was the case and they wanted to incorporate art into the building, which we encourage it to be integrated into the building, it would still have to be done by a professional artist. So if it was, say, an awning or part of the fencing or anything like that, according to Council's local planning policy, it would still have to be undertaken or designed by a professional artist.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Dewhurst? Thank you. Is there any other questions on the amendment? No? If councillors could please cast their vote on the amendment. Thank you. Someone hasn't voted. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll now put the amendment back with the original item. Is there any questions on the original item? Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have 3 questions. To begin with, the first one is in relation to the land ownership. So I note one of the parcels of land is jointly owned by the City of Gosnells. Can I please seek clarification that there's no conflicts of interest? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Mr. CEO will respond to that. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I don't believe there is. We've got ownership in one parcel of land because we want Clifford Street, and that's all we own effectively, and that has been the deal with Hesperia, and it was the only way to get Clifford Street built quickly to take pressure off those residents who live in Bickley Road and nearby roads who have been suffering traffic for a long period of time. So we've got no involvement with the development at all. We just have got ownership of what effectively is the land.
Thank you. Your next question?
Sorry, thank you. The next question is in relation to the quarantine room that was mentioned in the plan. Could I please clarify that any risks, whether there are any risks to the wetlands or the environment from items that need quarantine, and which agency would be responsible for that?
Thank you. And Mr. Lafort will answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. The regulation of the quarantine is done through the Department of Health, so they're the regulating authority who will ensure that there's no off-site impacts from the fumigation and quarantine process. So that's primarily to occur to ensure that anything that's leaving the site, whether it's going to sites that have specific quarantine risks, will be addressed on site, and Department of Health will regulate that.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. I have a further question in relation to the threatened ecological community. Could I please seek a clarification of what that is and how that will impact the development if the development's approved tonight? Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Lafort will answer that question as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Once Hesperia have satisfied the Department of Water and Environmental Regulation that the development of the balance of the site won't disturb the TEC, they would be entitled to commence works which could involve clearing and demolition of buildings that are outside of where the tech is placed. So if there's still time that they're going to be taking to look at offsetting the tech and looking at other sites where they can preserve vegetation, they may still be able to do clearing outside that tech.
Thank you. Another question? Thank you.
I will actually speak to the motion now,
okay,
if I can. So I'll be speaking in support of the motion. With those questions that I've asked, I believe the report and those responses justify that the application can be approved and that the conditions that are in the development application can be met, and it minimises the environmental impact. So I'm in support of this staff recommendation. Thank you. With the amendment.
Yes. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Williamson. Is there any other questions or debate on this item, councillors? No? If you would like to cast your vote on this item with the amendment, thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to item number 13.2.3, the development application for the change of use from the group dwelling to the unhosted short-term rental accommodation at 60D, Lot 4, Bert Street, Gosnells. A mover is Councillor Dewhurst, and a seconder is Councillor Williamson. So Deputy Mayor Williamson, I was preempting that. So Councillor Dewhurst would like to speak to this item. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I've read the application. I've read the council's recommendation. I don't support the council's recommendation. I would support the use of the building to what they've applied for. So I'll sit down. I'll get to speak again, and I'll see what happens with the rest of the councillors. Thank you.
Thank you. As a seconder, Councillor Deputy Mayor Williamson, would you like to speak to the item? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be speaking in support of the staff recommendation to not approve the group development, the short-term accommodation, because at this stage we do not have a policy in place which stipulates the areas that Airbnbs or short-term rentals are appropriate. I think there is a clear demand for some type of short-term accommodation within the City of Gosnells, but we're not at a stage where we've been able to actually determine those particular locations. Local residents are provided a protection at the moment with the position statement and guidelines by WAPC, which gives guidance that it should be in tourism areas. And so we have relied upon that position on numerous previous occasions, and I believe it would be premature to change that position now before it actually comes out to having a policy position and public consultation on that. In particular, in regard to amenity impact of this particular application, it is one dwelling, one small dwelling, which has been split into two. So that is a higher density impact, higher amenity impact than what that dwelling would be if it was one dwelling being rented out as an Airbnb. And I think that is something that should be considered. Not only is the location not within close distance of a train station or a tourist area, it is also in a prime location for residential families. We know that Australia is in a housing crisis. This is a tangible policy where we can actually assist with that. And I think this area is close to the primary school, so this area could be rented out, although significant investment has been made in it as a business investment. There's risks with all business investments, and if the planning doesn't actually represent that area, there's not a policy, that's a risk that the owner has chosen to take. And so I support all the planning reasons that the staff have mentioned in their report. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody speaking in support of the... Oh, Councillor Betts, you have an amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's drafted as an amendment. I'm not actually sure whether as amendment is, because it's actually doing the opposite, whether it should perhaps be a foreshadowed motion, perhaps would be better.
It's got it is ticked as a foreshadowed, the box.
Oh, it is good. Excellent. Fine. I'm just going to propose, Councillor Peter Betts, propose the following in the event that the staff recommendation is not supported, that Council approves the application for a change of use from group dwelling to unhosted short-term accommodation at 60D Lot 4 Bert Street, Gosnells, subject to the following conditions. A maximum of 6 guests are permitted at any one time. The short-term rental accommodation shall operate in accordance with the management plan dated 17th of July 2025 to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells for the duration of the development. All vehicle parking is to be accommodated wholly within the subject site, and a sign not exceeding half a square metre in area, including the phone number of the property owner manager, and the short-term rental accommodation registration number is to be affixed to the front of the dwelling or erected in the front setback area to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells for the duration of the development, and that this approval is valid for 2 years only, after which time the land shall not be used for the purpose approved unless a new application for development approval has been submitted to and approved by the City of Gosnells. Am I able to say a few more words, or...?
Yeah. Yes, you're speaking, so that's fine. Once you foreshadowed, you can then speak against the...
Fine, thank you. I appreciate the fact that at this point in time we don't have a policy in place regarding a short-term unhosted accommodation, but the reality is that there is a significant demand for that kind of accommodation, and in the City of Gosnells the demand is actually not from tourists, and the demand actually comes from people who are visiting family, and as the gentleman in the public statement stated for the other, in connection with the other application that's before us, it's for people who are here for short-term courses, all that kind of thing, families moving, having to stay in Perth for a week or two for medical treatment, whatever it is, that or family events, that this kind of accommodation is very highly sought after. I went out and actually visited the property today, and I have to say that of all the units in that development, it is the most attractive looking one. It's got a nice garden, the lavenders along the front. It's beautifully presented, and there's a little sign at the front because there's two parts of the building, so that it's very clear where the people need to go. It's very well done, and I think we need to keep in mind that with this short-term accommodation, we've actually got a situation where up till now, people have been operating these, and now they have to be registered, etc. And so now these things are coming before us as a council, and I don't think that the housing shortage is actually a significant issue. If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's about 40 houses, properties, I think, in the city of Gosnells that in the situation of being short-term accommodation premises. And so in terms of the total picture, it's relatively small. And so I just would suggest that my fellow councillors, that as a council, we should try and allow people to do whatever they want to do as long as it doesn't negatively impact on others. To me, that's kind of the guiding principle when I was a member of Parliament. That was always the thing that went through my mind. We want to give people as much freedom as possible, but sometimes you do need to rein it in because it has impact on other people. But clearly, this property in this sort of townhouse development, it's not causing any problems to any of the people there. There's a double garage for the cars can be parked in there from the people who would be renting it. So it's not causing any problems. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be approving it. But by the same token, because we don't have a policy yet, I have put in here a condition of 2-year approval so that if there are any issues that emerge, that then as the council we can, in 2 years' time, we say, look, sorry, this is causing problems, you can't have this anymore, but at least it gives the current owner the opportunity to continue what they've been, or how they've been operating, and to prove to us as a council that, yeah, it's all good. If it's not good, in 2 years' time, we can shut it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Does anybody else want to speak to this item? Councillor Good, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be in favouring the foreshadowed motion. I understand the points raised by Councillor Betts and previously Councillor Dewhurst. One of the issues that I have in my mind is that when it comes to these unhosted accommodation, I'm mindful now, and I'm actually going to put on the record here, that previously we've had these come before council. I've sort of been waiting for a policy that was going to come out that was, if you like, generic to all local governments, particularly obviously in WA. But when you think about it, there is no one size fits all. Every area is different to where you want to be, depends on where you want to live. So I'm mindful of the over-regulation by governments which actually cause the problems. People used to rent out rooms prior to Airbnb, which, as we know, only came into Australia in 2012. So for 13 years we've had Airbnb. It was only invented in 2008. So you say to yourself, what happened before then? How did we rent things? How did we get short term? Well, people did it generally by a newspaper ad or some way of saying, hey, rooms to rent. That's how it always had been. So my view is, with regulations comes enforcement, and even the effort that we've had to go as a council just to put things on the agenda items for somebody trying to get approval for something they've actually already been doing for quite some time. It sort of irritates me, it grates on me. It's obviously costly and time consuming. One of the key points I also want to make is, yes, we have a housing crisis, and it has been for quite some time, but short-term rentals are only a part of it. It's not caused solely by that. There's many, many factors. Pre-pandemic, Australia had 347,000 Airbnbs listings. Pre-pandemic, 347,000. Now there is Airbnb rooms. Lets you experience a city like a local by staying with one. Now, who would have thought that concept? Experience city like a local by staying with one. How do we know that people who don't come out here to stay actually aren't a tourist? I know they do all these surveys, but I tell most surveys, mind your own business. So you don't know, you're just assuming. Again, we cannot control the housing supply by regulation. There will always be housing issues caused by supply and demand. We see that now, that's why there is a housing crisis, but market equilibrium may not be achievable for some time. But we should not over-regulate by trying to dictate the market, let the market do its own regulation. And I do note the fact of, as the applicant spoke tonight, which I thought she spoke beautifully on this matter, the fact that you've got a multi-generational living and potentially two-door entrances to these type of properties, isn't that a wonderful thing? Particularly when you may, I mean, this is for an Airbnb, but this could be any unit where you might want to go, hang on, I'll put my mum or my mum-in-law or sister-in-law, and you have your own entrance, your own door. Hang on, two families not side by side. So I don't actually have a problem with this. I will be in support of the foreshadowed motion, unless, of course, someone comes along with a better counter-argument. But I just think it's time that we go, they've been doing their occupation, if you like, getting their income, causing no problems and no trouble. Why should we interfere? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Is there anybody speaking in support of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Lloyd, thank you.
I've been going really back and forward on this all day, actually, and hearing the conversations so far, the arguments for and against. For me, it's not about the short-term accommodation in general. Like, I think that we are going to formulate a policy on that and we're going to get to a decision. What's stumbling me tonight is that we have policies and procedures for a reason. And I think the fact that, especially over the last few meetings that we have rejected applications because we don't have a policy yet. And I feel like the problem is here that in the interest of fairness, we really have to consider that until we have a policy in place, until we have gone through that public consultation, and in fact, literally in a week's time, we could have new councillors that might have very different viewpoints on this. For that reason and that reason only, I have to go with the officer's recommendation tonight, taking completely out of the situation what my feelings are about these two and making it purely on the fact that right now we don't have a policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd. Is anybody else wanting to speak for or against this item? I'll just speak against the officer's recommendation as well, and like Councillor Lloyd, I have been going backwards and forwards on this all day as well. There is no right or wrong answer on this, and I think that whilst we could wait for a policy, I do note that we did have a discussion on a policy, councillors, and there were a lot of different ideas in that discussion. There are a lot of different differing opinions and policies from other councils, and no one has got the same policy. Someone's got the battle axe block, others let anyone do anything, others it's a zone. So I'm just not sure that we're not that sort of council where we're going to need a zone for tourism, because that's not one of our issues here. And I do take on board that someone said that this is about families and people coming to visit. I know my nieces come down from Gerald and they have to stay 1 million miles away because there's no Airbnbs close and my house is not big enough for them. But anyway, that's another story. So I think there is a need for it, and I think we can still develop a policy if we need to, or we can, we also, within that conversation that we had about our policies, we know I think there was only 124 houses out of 44,000 houses in the city. So it's not, even if that went to 1,000, it's still, which is very unlikely, it's still a very small percentage of houses within the city that are doing this. People don't want these next door to them, but at the end of the day, they are maintained very nicely and neatly. And yes, you may not know who's in that house next to you, but at the end of the day, we're still allowing home businesses, and anyone can still come and visit anyone. We're also allowing family daycare, so that means movement of traffic and differentiating noises next door as well. So there's a lot of things that can happen, and I don't think that restricting Airbnbs, if we wait for a policy to occur, we still have to come to a general consensus on that, and then that's a new council, and then that could still be February next year. In the meanwhile, we've knocked back another 5 or 6 of these applications. So I'm happy to go with the foreshadowed motion and vote against the officer's recommendation today, just to get things moving. And should there be some that come through without the policy in place, then it's only going to be a minimal amount. And, I go to this one, this is in a small group dwelling, and there weren't anyone in that complex that had a problem with this being there. So I'm not sure that we should have such a problem if in a group dwelling like that there's no problem. So I'll be voting against the officer's recommendation on this one. Thank you, councillors. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this question? Thank you, or speak. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? For the next next item on the agenda is very similar application. Can we just bundle them together maybe? No? Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's a good suggestion, but now that we've moved and debated this one, we can't bundle them. Thank you. Are there any other questions or debate on this? Otherwise, Councillor Dewhurst will be closing. Yes, thank you.
I did ask this question when we were out the back, but I just think for the interest of the public, one of my questions was that those applications that we have rejected over the last few meetings, is there now, if a decision is made tonight under this foreshadowed motion, to go back to those people and give them the opportunity? And I only say that because, you know, I see a real sense of unfairness in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dewhurst, if you'd like to close the debate. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So this has gone the way I hope it would go. As I said, I don't support the officer's recommendation. I didn't go back and forth with this at all. I see this as someone owning a home in a set of units. The home is absolutely stunning. The people in the units don't have a problem there. So why are we wanting to add layers of bureaucracy and telling people what they can and can't do with their own property? We do that enough as local governments around Western Australia, around Australia, and I don't think we need to get involved in telling people what they can and can't do. And I know people say, well, we're scared about who's going to go in there. But I tell you what, one of my biggest complaints that I get from people around our city is the fact of the people that are renting properties, not for short term, but for long term. And the people who own those houses have absolute dramas to try and get them out. So, you know, it's sort of which way do you go? You know, you get someone in there and who maybe be disruptive, but I tell you what, you can get them out pretty quick with a B&B, but with a rental, it takes a long time to do that and creates absolute hell. And in regards to the policy, I mean, I absolutely like what Councillor Betts put up there. You know, just until we get a policy up there, approve this for 2 years, let these guys to maintain the business, what they're doing, support those people who own those houses. And I actually like my friend there, his recommendation by putting these together so we can go home earlier, but we're not going to do that, are we? So look, I'd ask the councillors to not support the officer's recommendation, support the community and support the foreshadowed motion. Thank you.
Councillor Dewhurst. Councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That item has been lost. We now move to the foreshadowed motion. Councillor Betts would be seeking a seconder on that, please. Councillor Adams to second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I probably don't need to say a great deal more, other than just to say that I think it's a reasonable way forward, and given that there is no objection from the people in that particular townhouse development, and the people who operate this have demonstrated that they're doing it really well, and aesthetically, it's the nicest looking unit in the development, and it meets a real need in the community. I'd encourage councillors to support it. Thank you.
Councillor Adams is the seconder, unless just.
I want a point of clarity, please.
Okay.
I looked up at the board and saw there was 3 green lines there, and it looked like my name was actually green. Is that, am I green or red? I should be red.
What button did you press, Councillor Dewhurst?
That took it off too quick. Couldn't get it.
Thank you. As a seconder, we'll get that clarified for you. As a seconder, Councillor Adams, did you want to speak to the foreshadowed motion? Would anybody else like to speak to the foreshadowed motion? I just have a question of the CEO, actually. If we're going to develop a policy on this, when would we look at bringing that back? And what would we do in the meantime for other applications coming forward?
So Madam Mayor, if planning policies require advertising to the community, but what we tend to do is we put policies out to council initially before we go there, so that councillors got a chance to discuss it prior. That part of the process can be truncated or left out, so we can move very quickly to bring something to you to put to the community and follow that process. And in the meantime, we can let previous applicants know that council's reconsidering its position, and that if its position changes, they're welcome to apply again.
So obviously, any that are approved now will stand by it, but in future there could be others that we
And if
that
council
don't abide by our policy.
and if council comes forward with this view, then I think the view of staff will be that we try and reflect the view that council's taken most recently.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Thank you. Any other debate or questions on the foreshadowed? Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be speaking against the foreshadowed motion for similar reasons why I was actually supporting the staff recommendation originally. I think one of the things that we're forgetting is this property started off as a hosted Airbnb, a hosted STRA, which is a completely different thing. It's now turned into an unhosted STRA. So as an unhosted STRA, it didn't have development approval for that, and that's what the decision was to do tonight. So I think there's definitely a need for short-term accommodation, but we do know many of our properties in our city have room for a ancillary dwelling. So there's room to have a granny flat or have a tiny house where if people do need accommodation, they can go into there with the hosted STRA. So I think our policy, we had all different views when we discussed the policy coming in, and I think if this is going to set that guiding principle that, oh, the council's now wavering, you're making investment in our city very wobbly. So people now, we've held one position up until now, and we've been waiting for a policy to be formulated, which gives the community an opportunity to have their say and be heard. And now all of a sudden, between now and that policy app's coming about, do you invest in our city or not? You don't know what the decision will be or where this council's going. So I will not support this staff foreshadowed motion tonight. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, does anybody else want to speak on the foreshadowed motion? If not, then Councillor Betts will close the debate on that. Thank you, Councillor Betts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate the comment of the Deputy Mayor, but I think that people have already invested in this city, and the rules have kind of changed in the sense now they need to be regulated and they need to be registered, etc. So we're actually in a situation where people have got an established, if you like, business, and we're changing because the state government's changed the rules, we've kind of needed to act on that. And so I think the 2-year limit on this particular and any forthcoming ones is a reasonable thing to do. And once we have our policy in place, then we can, that provides the guidance for everyone who's contemplating going in that direction of having unhosted short-term accommodation. So I encourage councillors to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote on the foreshadowed motion, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. We'll now move on to item number 13.2.4, the development application for the change of use from single house to unhosted short-term rental accommodation at 3 Lot 8 Marlow Way, Thornlie. Can I get a mover? Councillor Dewhurst to move that, and a seconder, Councillor Baynes to second that. Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to speak to this item?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I won't talk too long. I support the applicant in this matter, and I will close the debate. So that I will close the debate after we have our discussions. But more or less, everything's been said. Ditto to everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Seconder was Councillor Baynes. Did you want to speak to this item? Councillor Dalton, you want to speak to this item? Councillor Betts, thank you.
Madam Mayor, just want to foreshadow a motion that if the staff recommendation is voted down, that I will move that council approves the application for a change of use from single house to unhosted short-term rental accommodation at number 3, Lot 8, Marlow Way, Thornlie, subject to the following conditions. A maximum of 6 guests are permitted at any one time. The short-term rental accommodation shall operate in accordance with the management plan dated 29th of April 2025 to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells for the duration of the development. All vehicle parking is to be accommodated wholly within the subject site. a sign not exceeding half a square metre in area, including the phone number of the property owner manager, and the short-term rental accommodation registration number is to be affixed to the front of the dwelling or erected in the front setback area to the satisfaction of the City of Gosnells for the duration of the development. And this approval is valid for 2 years only, after which time the land shall not be used for the purpose approved unless a new application for development approval has been submitted to and approved by the City of Gosnells. And so, Madam Mayor, I'm speaking against the staff recommendation, and I went out and had a look at the property today. It's on a corner block, and you can actually park about 6 cars in that driveway, and there's a double carport there as well. Any vehicle issues, there certainly won't be any street parking from that property being used. And as parties are not allowed in the Airbnb places, there certainly won't be a parking or a traffic issue. And if that house was rented out to a family with, say, 4 teenage boys, I would suggest that it would generate far, far, far more traffic than an Airbnb premises, because the number of vehicles that come and go from a home with teenage boys, all who've got their driver's licence, you'd probably have 6 cars in that driveway. And I really don't think it's going to be an issue in that area. And from what I understood from the public statement is that the owner actually lives next door. So it's almost semi-hosted anyway. It's not quite hosted, but about as close as you can get to it. So I'm speaking against the staff recommendation and hope that people will support my foreshadowed motion shortly.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. I just have a quick question, actually, if I could ask Ms Lafort from Planning. If the policy comes back, is there a legal way that we can put that people can only have one unhosted Airbnb within the City of Gosnells?
Thanks for the question, Madam Mayor. I don't think there's any legal way you couldn't restrict anyone from having only one within the City of Gosnells. So if it was to say that yours is that one in Thornlie, but then you want to have another one in Langford, is that then I don't see any legal way that would be able to be done.
That couldn't go in a policy then?
It would be very difficult because each person would have the right to apply on any individual property and have that considered on its merits, regardless of who they were.
Thank you. I was just asking the question. Okay, I'll be voting against the officer's recommendation on this and supporting the foreshadowed motion. Just wanted to let councillors know that for the record. Is there any further debate or questions on this item, councillors? No? Closing the debate, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote on the officer's recommendation, thank you. Thank you. That has been lost, so we'll go back to the foreshadowed motion. Councillor Betts, you're seeking a seconder for that. Councillor Good, thank you.
Thank you. I guess I need to read it all over again, do I?
No, I don't think you need to read it all over again unless anyone wants that read again.
Yeah.
Anyone in the gallery?
I'll spare you the agony. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Look, I think I've probably said sufficient. I don't think I need to say anything further on this.
Thank you. Councillors, if you cast your vote on the foreshadowed item, thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Yeah. If you were here for an item on the change of use, you can leave if you like, or you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you. We'll now move on to 13.2.5, the minor modifications and adoption of local planning policies under local planning scheme number 24. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Islam to move this, seconder. Councillor Singh to second this. Any questions or debate on this item, councillors? No? If you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you. That has... Yes, thank you. Aaron, Councillor Adams, he was asking if he's going to be notified. Thank you. That has been carried. Item number 13.3.1, the Helen Jenkins House expression of interest for tenancy. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Dalton to move this, Councillor Baines to second this. Is there any debate or questions on this, councillors? Right, thank you. If you'd like to cast your vote. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to item 13.5.1, the tender for 2025 mobile watering service. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Lloyd, seconded by Councillor Islam. Thank you. And any debate or questions, councillors? No. If you would like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Item number 13.5.2, the tender for 16/2025, the replace sections of roofing at Don Rusk Performing Arts Centre. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Betts to move this, Councillor Baines to second this. Is there any debate or questions on this item, councillors? No? If you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to 13.5.3, the budget variation for the installation of a public toilet at Beckenham train station. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Baines to move this and Councillor Singh to second this. Councillor Baines, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Singh, would anybody else like to speak to this item? Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. I just have a question in relation to the park underneath the train station, whether there's any update on when that will be completed.
Conversation with the director about this today because I went to visit and he has got a lot to tell you.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Unfortunately, the contractors were unable to complete the works for Allure prior to the opening of the railway station. There is an ongoing issue with supply of water for irrigation, which we are working towards a solution, but it will involve drilling a new bore. So we're not expecting water for some time. We are seeking answers to all of our questions with respect to that particular contract, and we are following it closely. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be some months before we have a fully functioning park, Long Park, as it's been called, at Beckenham Station. In fact, we probably have the toilet installed before they finish.
Thank you. Just ask how we're going to get the water for the toilet, aren't you?
No, different water. So the dog park enclosure, that can't be used until the water situation's resolved?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm seeking further advice on that. I mean, it could be used, but it would be a dirt park, which there are dog parks around. They get a bit dirty, but at the same time, it's where they could go. But I am seeking some advice to see if we can actually operate parts of the park while it's still under construction.
Thank you. Any other questions or debate on this item? No. Councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to motions of which previous notice has been given. 14.1, the request for councils to continue with projects. Seeking a mover. You'd like to move that, Councillor Dewhurst? Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Dalton to second that. Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So the proposed motion is that should I not return to the upcoming election, the council could consider the following projects and continue and adopts their projects described in the councillor comment section below. Safe Communities Now project, Harmony Fields activation strategy, Thornlie Bowling Club facilities, the Sporting Oval lighting, Sutherland's Oval, shared club rooms for junior sports, the Urban Tree Canopy enhancement and the Mooksy Precinct 2. So the following is in support of it. As I conclude my current term of service in council, I believe it's important to ensure continuity of key community projects that remain unfinished but are of significant value to the city of Gosnells and its residents. These projects represent years of consultation, planning and collaboration with the community, sporting clubs and other stakeholders.
Sorry, excuse me. Can I just point of order?
Thank you.
Is the motion that you're reading different to what's in our agenda?
Thank you, Councillor Deputy Mayor Williamson. I was going to bring that up after, but you actually said out loud that the council could continue, but the wording is that the council continues, which is very different. So if you would like to read out your proposed motion again at the start, thank you.
It's very nice of you to actually do it. I'd rather you consider it, but anyway, we'll go
But
through it
that's
that
not
way.
what the wording says, Councillor Dewhurst.
Well,
It
maybe I
says
need
continues.
to amend the motion then.
Well, it is your motion.
Yeah, but maybe I need to amend it then. That's because I'd like to, because after consideration, I'd like for councillors and council to consider it. I'm not asking
So
actually
you would
to do
like
it.
to amend your motion and
I
add
would.
the
I'd
word
like to amend my
consider?
motion then, yes.
That council
Could
considers,
consider the following projects.
considers the following and strike the word continues.
I'll leave the continue out. Let's put could consider. That's all.
I'm going to get you to read the... Thank you, Councillor Betts. Councillor Dewhurst, I'll get you to read out exactly what you want in your amendment to your
thank you.
motion.
So that should I not be returned to the upcoming election, council could consider the following projects and adopts the approaches described in the councillor comments section below.
Is the seconder happy with that change? Thank you. Carry on.
Okay. So do I need to read them all out again?
No.
Okay. As I conclude my current term of service in council, I believe it's important to ensure continuity of the key community projects that remain unfinished but are significant value to the City of Gosnells and its residents. These projects represent years of consultation, planning, collaboration with the community, sporting clubs and other stakeholders. Should I not return the upcoming election, I request the council continue to support these projects and adopts the following approaches.
Sorry, Councillor Dewhurst, you'll have to put could consider in there as well.
Yeah, sorry, okay, that'll be good. Yeah, could consider. Could consider to support these projects and adopts the following approaches in the best interest of the community. The Safe Community Now project, the success of the Gosnell Street and Meet and the broader Safe Communities Now initiative, which fosters safer, more inclusive and better connected neighbourhoods, has led to the creation of a community movement which is worthy of continuing council support.
Sorry, again, correct, Councillor Dewhurst. Did you want to read all those out? They are written in the agenda.
They are written in the agenda. I'd rather not read them all out, to tell you the
Okay,
truth.
that'd be okay. I think everyone has read them.
I'm with Councillor Islam on there, but I'd like to talk about it though.
Yep, you have your seconder, you can talk to it, thank you. Could consider.
Okay, no, I won't go to that. Okay, so this has never been done before in regards to at the end, but I'm sure all councillors sitting around here who's up for election have got priorities that they're looking at and that they're working on. These priorities I have, and I've had help from other councillors to move these along, and I would hate for it to see just to finish because Glenn Dewhurst doesn't get back on the council. I would like for council to consider it. If this is not an election stunt, which probably some of you think it is, if I was, I would have brought it up 2 weeks ago, or I would have brought it up 4 weeks ago, and I would have marketed it on that. This is just about. I'll get nervous in walking behind me. This is about some things that are close to my heart and also some community members' heart. And so I'd just like for council, after the election, if they could consider these. If they don't want them to go ahead, that's fine as well. It doesn't matter. But I've thought about it, and should I bring it up? And I'm going to get stuff thrown at me because I've brought this stuff up and be accused of things of electioneering. Well, it's not, because as I said, I could have done this 2 or 4 weeks ago. I think these are worthy things to consider going forward, and I just ask for the councillors to consider that after this next election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Dalton, as a seconder, did you want to speak to this item? Anybody else want to speak to this item? Councillor Betts, thank you.
Madam Mayor, before I speak, I'd just like to have clarity, because each time Councillor Dewhurst has read the motion, the wording's been slightly different. I just want to, what actually is the wording that we're considering?
So what I have here in front of me is that should I not be returned at the upcoming election, council could consider the following projects and adopts the approach described in the councillor comment section below.
I thought that's what it was, yeah. to my mind, that is actually a non-motion. Council can consider anything. And it's not actually asking council to do anything. It's only asking council to consider. It could consider. That's a very weak statement. And I have some difficulty in, if I'm not re-elected, if Councillor Dewhurst's not re-elected, I don't think it's for us as departing councillors to tell the future councillors what they're supposed to do. There is continuity because there's 6 councillors that are continuing, plus we've got the senior staff and the things that are, some of those projects are in train already anyway. I kind of think this is almost a little bit improper in this trying to tell a future council what they're supposed to do, or by saying could consider, you're trying to sort of tone it down without telling them what to do. But I just think it's not an appropriate thing to do to, on our last meeting, to try and tell the future council what they could or should be doing. Thank you. So I won't be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Is there anybody else would like to speak on this item? Otherwise, I'm happy to say a few words. No, okay, and I kind of agree with you that we could definitely consider anything. I think what's happened here is Councillor Dewhurst has got his list of what he'd like to have happen in the city, but you are right, you can't bind a future council to it, and you can't even tell them that they've got to consider it. So all of these items, a lot of these items are already in our strategy anyway, which is great that Councillor Dewhurst would like to bring them for the attention again. Also, a lot of them also lack the cost that it would cost to deliver all of them. So there's a lot that has to happen before any of these can go ahead. So as far as considering, I think that the best thing to do is, should Councillor Dewhurst not be re-elected, I'm sure he'll have opportunity to approach any one of us and also to come here as well to make his position known on any of these projects. So I won't be supporting this motion. Is any other debate on this item? Councillor Dewhurst, if you'd like to close, thank you.
Well, so I've listened to what you've said, Madam Mayor, and I can see where this is going to go, where the consideration. But you spoke about binding. Councillor Betts spoke about this as binding the next council. It's not binding at all. I think every councillor should stand up and say, these are the things that I've been doing, and these are the things that I want to continue to do. I would like to see council continue. Because I could guarantee you, there might be only 1 or 2 of you here know actually what the issues are at the Sutherlands Park with the Junior Footy Club, that the problems that they're having at the Thornlie Bowling Club. You don't know, so you won't care. All I'm trying to do is say there's issues there, and a council coming forward, someone could actually look at those things and say, well, you know what, I'll give Glenn a ring and see what's going on, or I'll give the Thornlie Bowling Club a ring. That's what I'd like to see. So it's not about binding council to after next election. This is actually about forward thinking. And this is actually about supporting our community on initiatives that I think is important to me. And I'm actually quite surprised that no one else has actually stood up and said, hey, these are things that I've been working on. No one has. And this, I've said, it's the first time it's been done. You know, I've done a number of first things since I've been on council, and hasn't gone very well a lot of the times, but hey, that's what it is. Give it a crack. But I would be very disappointed. In fact, I think a lot of community would be disappointed too, that the fact is that you would not allow the next council to consider that, you know what, this is what we've been working on. So councillors, I ask you to support your community. I'll ask you to support these initiatives in regards to getting the council to actually consider it, even think about it. I mean, it might even just go to a workshop and say, hey, what do you think about Safe Cities? No, I don't like it. Okay, it's gone. You know, what about the Thornlie Bowling Club? No, don't care. You know, so be it. We've considered it. That's all I'm asking council to do, because these things are dear to my heart and dear to a lot of community members. So if you don't want to support the community, vote against this. That's what it boils down to. Vote against it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Oh, sorry, could you please cast your vote? Thank you. That motion has been lost. We now move on to item 14.2, to request to prepare a draft local planning policy for tree retention. Can I get a mover? Deputy Mayor Councillor Serena Williamson to move this. Thank you.
Yep, so the proposed motion, as it reads in the report, states that the following motion was proposed, that Council requests the CEO to prepare a draft local planning policy for tree retention on rural zone properties in Martin and Orange Grove for discussion at an elected members workshop in February 2026. I provided the following councillor comment. Councillor S. Williamson provided the following comments. The council has discussed and considered the Welga model local planning policy on tree retention on a number of occasions previously. Whilst there may be significant uncertainty and risk with adopting a tree retention policy across the entire city, there may be merit in adopting a modified tree policy limited to areas where tree removal results in significant amenity impacts such as Orange Grove and Martin. A tree retention policy that requires development approval for tree removal may limit the unnecessary mass clearing of trees that we have seen in recent years. The policy could potentially limit tree removal to only that necessary for construction of approved development, such as sheds, outbuildings, etc. The recent Zorsey versus Town of Cambridge case indicates the benefit of a tree retention policy to guide planning conditions on prospective development approvals. However, a draft policy would need to be flexible enough to allow tree removal for fire mitigation, pruning for safety and disease, and any other issues related to rural blocks. So I seek a seconder.
Councillor Zhang, thank you. Speak to it.
Thank you. As I said, the Welga model local planning policy usually applies to an entire area. Over the last couple of years, we have seen a big change in the Orange Grove area where there's been increasing clearing and properties being purchased for uses other than residential. One of the questions that we keep having repetitively is, why is council approving this tree clearing? And at this stage, because we don't have a policy, we're not in a position to approve or deny it. So at the moment, the approval of clearing is done by Department of Water and Environmental Regulations, and it needs to be over 5 hectares to actually trigger that approval to occur. So I was referring in the agenda earlier, one of the policies that we did an administrative amendment to was the rural development policy, and through that policy, the rural area has still been maintained in LPS 24. It's just changed its name slightly to rural residential rather than special rural. But the objectives that the council has always had in place within the Foothills strategy stay the same, and that hasn't changed. So that policy stipulated there was precincts in Martin, Southern Foothills, and the Tonkin Highway East, and the primary purpose or objectives of those was to encourage rural residential lots while ensuring the retention of significant vegetation. So each of those areas already have that as the council's objective for those areas. What we then did last year, we went out to public consultation in Martin and in Orange Grove, gauging what residents in that area wanted, and we actually had probably the most feedback we have ever received on any consultation. And what stood out was that more than 76% of respondents rate vegetation environment as important or very important in this area. So I think with the recent case, the Zorsey case, it actually highlighted the need for a tree retention policy. Things are moving very quickly out in Orange Grove, particularly with Mooksy progressing. Many businesses are looking to go on the other side of the highway into what we have zoned as rural residential, and that can become very hard from a compliance point of view if we don't have a policy in place to guide if we are approving development approvals. So I just really wanted to say this is for discussion. I've run it past the planning director, and it will allow up till February so he can gather a draft and gather data. And it's not about disallowing the removal of trees. It's about having the conversation when a DA comes in, that the planning department can have a conversation about trees and work out whether trees can be retained, how many trees are going to be cleared, and what would be the impact to canopy across the city. And we've recently displayed our commitment to tree canopy on public land. We haven't gone as far as public land, but I think losing a lot of vegetation through the rural area would have a significant impact on the City of Gosnells as a whole. So I ask for you to support this motion.
Deputy Mayor, second to Councillor Zhang, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Thanks very much, Madam Mayor. Look, I fully support this. It's not far enough. It shouldn't just be in the rural area. It should be down the metropolitan area as well. We're losing trees and green spaces in a lot of our properties across our city. We've also got to be very careful about how the policy is drafted, because a lot of our trees in the rural area actually have canker, which is a disease, and dieback, and the other one that I can't remember. And our trees, some of these trees need to go back. The last thing I would hate to see is that someone's got to remove a tree that's got canker in it that has to come down, or dieback that has to come down, and have to seek approval from council, and the council turns around and says, well, you know, it looks like canker, but go spend $2,300 and get an arborist to do a report on it. We can't put that impost on our residents. So we just have to be careful how it's worded. But I tell you what, I fully support this. I wish I thought of it. It's a really good idea. But you know, I'd like to see this actually be pushed out right across the city. We need to protect our trees. It's very important. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Dewhurst, I just have a couple of questions. I note that Deputy Mayor said that it's to allow the Department of Planning and Development to have conversations with people when they put their application about tree retention. Isn't that something that we're already doing? I know that was something that we asked to be happening with the previous director, and I just wanted to check if that's already happening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess the way that this allows it is that they lodge a development application. So by requiring a development application to remove the trees, that then allows us to go through the process. If there's no development application, then they'll just, remove the tree regardless, and we wouldn't have that opportunity to have the conversation. So we try to always have those conversations pre-lodgement, but if someone doesn't approach us to have that, we don't know that they're going to then remove the tree. So this would allow them to say, you're removing that size of tree, you need a planning application, and then that's how we would have that conversation.
Okay. Look, I have concerns about this. I know that you might think it's a good idea, and obviously you've brought it up as something that you value. And I don't disvalue trees either, but I just am concerned that we're targeting 2 suburbs with this. And I think that the conversation needs to be bigger, and I wouldn't want the staff to go ahead and do a draft local planning policy on just 2 suburbs when there's a whole lot more that needs to be taken into account than just Orange Grove and Martin. I also note that obviously I live in Orange Grove, and I've got about 60 trees on my block, and about 30 of them have got dieback on the top of them, and I think I've got too many, and I think they're all struggling for water in the area, and I don't know how I would prove to the City of Gosnells that they need to come down so that the others can survive. I'm not sure what that... It just seems a little bit complex, and look, I will support this, but I just want to put in that we need to have a workshop on this as well before, obviously, that it comes in, and because there's a lot more involved in this. You don't make things too complex for people. Another application because you want to remove 1 tree or 5 trees or whatever it is. And there has been a bit of clearing in Orange Grove, but it hasn't been exorbitant. There's been a couple of people that have just gone in and cleared the whole lot, but most people are doing the right thing, I think. So I think that I wouldn't like to see Orange Grove and Martin targeted solely on this. So happy to support it, but I just want to make that known that that's my thoughts on it. So any other debate or questions on this? Councillor Lloyd, thank you.
Can I just clarify then, because what's being asked for here... 1 second. So are we asking for the draft policy to be done before it comes to the workshop, or will it come to the workshop first? Because I really would like it to be extended to the whole city.
A draft would normally come for a workshop for discussion first.
First?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Any other... Councillor Deputy Mayor, would you like to close the debate? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The reason, I guess, to explain the reason for Orange Grove and Martin being stipulated is because in the areas where there's smaller block sizes, for subdivision to occur or any development, it is much harder to retain a tree, and that has been the stumbling block when balanced against property rights. If I had to speak personally, I personally would like to see it reaching further, but I sort of see this as if we can work out this hurdle, we can get over this one, if we can work out how this could work out, and it will be complicated to actually get the wording right, consider the different scenarios, but just because something's hard, it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. So I think it's worth getting the planners to put their expertise to work and work out, can this be done? Do we have the data? What would it be to actually achieve this? What would be the outcome? What would be the impact? What are the complications? So we can actually have that in-depth, or the new council can have that in-depth discussion to work out what policy framework there is. And we may find that that policy framework leads the way for other local governments that have rural areas as well, which are trying to work out that balance between tree retention and development. So I think it's worth trying, and it's worth having that work so that the councillors, when it does come to our workshop, there's that information there to make an informed, data-driven decision. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. If you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Is that on here? Is it off? Thank you, councillors. That has been carried. We now move on to a confidential item. There's no urgent business, but we're moving on to a confidential matter. So I'm seeking a mover to close the council meeting. Thank you. Councillor Adams, happy to move that. Councillor Good to second that. Councillors, if you cast your vote on closing the council meeting. Thank you.
stay there.